Streaming now, this is the Wood TV Live Desk.
And good afternoon, everyone. Phil Penarski here with the News 8 Live Desk. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Millions of people are already getting in on the action, and many more will with over 30 hours left to go in this year's Amazon Prime Days. Again, they're extending starting today and going into tomorrow. But there are a lot of deals out there, a lot of information circulating around. It can be a bit jarring, but lucky for us and lucky for you now too, we have actually teamed up with Best Reviews once again to really break down all of the top items, some guides to really help you in your shopping experience. And that is why we are once again joined by Jacob Palmer with Best Reviews to help break it all down for us. Jacob, as always, it's great to have you on the live desk, but more in particular for shopping deal events like this.
Hey, thanks for having me. You know, Prime Day, it becomes a bigger thing every year, and luckily for everybody, including myself, I've been covering it since 2018, so I've got a long view of this thing.
Yeah, right. No, and again, we're very lucky to have you. Always excited to have you on here. And before we get into some of the big deals that people are really looking forward to, and I know you're going to be able to help us out with that, I do, of course, want to ask just some questions kind of just about Prime Days in general. I mean, there's a lot of other elements that go into this, specifically what you guys do over at Best Reviews. But as far as Prime Days is concerned, is there anything that's changed this time around, or really broadly speaking, what's new with Prime Days that maybe people aren't used to, and maybe this is the first time they're doing it?
Yeah, it's one of these things where I think the biggest question we always get is, is it actually worth it? Are they actually doing anything here that should be taking some of my precious attention? And this year, I would say absolutely yes. Amazon hears that too. And so they understand that they need to step it up every single year. And so how have they done that over the last few years? When I first started covering it, it was kind of like bringing the Instant Pot and air fryers to the masses. Now everybody seems to have those. So how do you keep topping yourself year over year? This year, what they're doing is they are building off of what they did last year, which was bringing in more and more name brands and getting the big blowouts across the board. It really is becoming kind of a Black Friday, Cyber Monday in July for Amazon. And so that's one thing, is what we're seeing right now. More Apple deals, more deals on things like Samsung. Electronics and kitchen are the two categories that they are just absolutely going big on. And the customers are really responding to it. Now, the other thing is, they're going bigger in the areas that they've always done well. Like, they've always sold a ton of headphones, for example. They're going very big in there. You can find some from the cheaper end of the spectrum. We like the JLabs, all the way up to Bose or the AirPods Max. So they're getting more depth there, but they're also expanding out with more breadth of the categories they're covering as well. So what I mean by that is they just announced earlier today that Prime members can get 30% off base fares from Southwest. I know they're in Grand Rapids. There's a number of Southwest flights to go out of there. Now that you mention it, so that's another one. I live near Southwest Airport myself, so it's another one that's kind of interesting to me. But they're getting into travel in a way that I think has always been kind of a white whale for them. They've had these white whales over the years where it was pets for a while, and then they expanded hugely there, and then it was after that, it was apparel, and they've obviously made a ton of inroads on that with more brand names and more partnerships on that front. And then this year, it seems like they're partnering directly with Southwest, which is a major air carrier, and that's going to, I believe, start to expand them into travel in a way that's just beyond suitcases and luggage trackers and things of that nature. So that's an interesting one that we're really tracking here. Is this the start of something bigger where they're going to be partnering more with more travel providers, or is this just kind of a test and we'll see kind of where it pans out in the long run?
Yeah, no, definitely something to keep an eye on for sure. And I know a lot of people, maybe this is the first time that they're hearing about this. So definitely glad to have you on here today, Jacob. But another thing that a lot of people are always concerned about, especially during these types of deal days, is the scamming aspect. Scammers are always going to look for any opportunity they can to really try and get people to fall victim to some of their plots and tricks and everything like that. As far as these deal days are concerned, can you offer anybody some tips on potentially just making sure that the things that they're trying to buy, they actually can, and maybe give them some help to avoid possibly falling victim this time around?
Yeah, absolutely. And it just seems like, every year more scams come up, right? It becomes a bigger opportunity for those scammers as technology unlocks more ways for them to directly communicate with folks. So basically around Prime Day, it's like any other time when you're shopping on the web. You want to stay close to, kind of the core fundamentals of how to use a site where you're putting your credit card down. So a lot of the ways these scammers are reaching shoppers is via email or other phishing schemes. So you want to be able to look at the email address from somebody that's reaching out to you with something that seems too good to be true. And so make sure that you're back to a trusted website before your credit card even, comes close to leaving your wallet, or you consider inputting your payment information. So that's one. Look in the URL bar. If it doesn't say exactly Amazon.com when it's time for you to put your credit card down, then you need to be thinking twice about it. Additionally, if you already are a Prime member, then they should already have your information within your login. There shouldn't be anything new. You shouldn't have to put in your credit card again. So that's another one to kind of always be looking out for. And then on the email side of it, again, if it's too good to be true, the rule of thumb is usually it is. And so you want to be careful there. If they're offering something that's extra from what's already on the Amazon site, and it's not from a mailing list you're already subscribed to and you already have reason to trust, that's a reason to kind of add some friction to the process and slow yourself down, pump the brakes a little bit. So it's kind of those basic, online shopping competencies that you need to be leaning on around now. I think a lot of people in their jobs have to go through the phishing training. That's another one where it's those trainings are actually really valuable across a lot of different areas of your life, whether it's shopping or your job. So, kind of stick to the core fundamentals. There is my number one piece of advice, and always be locked in on what does that URL bar say, and it should say Amazon.com if you're at the point of payment.
Right, no, those are all very good tips, and I think this is something, you never think you're going to fall victim to a scam until it actually does happen to you. So definitely, they may sound redundant. Obviously, you don't want to pass along your information to somebody you don't know, but it's important to always kind of keep this stuff in mind, especially when you are making some large amount of purchases, or maybe quite a few purchases over Amazon Prime days. And that kind of leads perfectly into some of the best deals happening on right now. Jacob, I kind of want to split it up into two separate groups. So first things first, I want to talk about some of the big ticket items, maybe some of these more luxury, more expensive items that are on sale right now, part of Amazon Prime Days, that you think are really worth it and think that people should really be taking advantage of.
Yeah, that's a great question. And this year, like I said at the top of the segment, there are a lot of big names out there. So if we're thinking about electronics, the Apple AirPods Max, that's a great one. If you've been holding off on buying their newest pair of over-ear headphones, now is a great time to get that. You probably won't see a better price until Black Friday or Cyber Monday. So if you're looking at the higher end of the spectrum, that's a great place to start. Basically all Apple products, if you're looking to update what you got, now is a good time to consider it. They've got iPads for sale, Apple Watches, AirPods of all variety, both the MacBook Pro and the MacBook Air. They've got different versions of it. So you can get a MacBook Air for, around $850 right now. So if it's time to upgrade your laptop, it's another good opportunity for that as well. So basically on the electronics front, you got Apple. Also, though, if you want to update your TV, and I know a lot of people do that, maybe around February ahead of the Super Bowl, or even, March Madness or anything like that. And then again, over Christmas, of course. But now is another good time as well. We're seeing some really great deals on the high end with brands like Samsung, as well as, some more inexpensive models like from Vizio. We've seen some pretty good offers there on some of their higher end technologies. So if you're thinking also maybe it's time to upgrade that's a great one to think about in terms of the higher end, big ticket items that are out there right now. If you're looking though in the kitchen, it's also a great time to be considering upgrading some of the stuff you've got and that you use all the time. Right now, Amazon has got a pretty sweeping suite of Le Creuset products. Their, world famous enameled cast iron products are out there right now, and there's a lot of items that we're seeing moving pretty fast there. Of course, there's the KitchenAid. They're another big brand that has got a lot of different items out there too, and those don't come cheap. Now, I'm thinking one item that's a few $100, so I think it applies to the question here. That is interesting for this time of year is the Ninja Creami. It's an ice cream maker, and I think a lot of places around the country are having pretty hot summers. And so this would be a good item to consider as well if you're thinking about maybe making your own ice cream. It's a lot of fun in our testing lab. You can check out our YouTube page. It's youtube.com/bestreviews. We've done a lot of side-by-side comparisons with ice cream makers, and a lot of people are wondering, am I just being self-serving by literally serving myself ice cream? I mean, yeah, in a way, it did work out that way. But on the other side, it really does make good ice cream. And if you're a family and you want to have kind of an activity together that everybody's happy with and has kind of a prize at the end of the day, this is a good investment in that. It's a fun summer activity that you wouldn't, I think about all the time. And it's another thing that I don't think you'd want to spend full price on, most days of the year. But if you can find it for a few $100s off like you can right now, it's a good one to consider as well.
Yeah, and I just want to start off by saying we are not sponsored here on the Live Desk, but I can attest to the Ninja Creami being a pretty good buy, at least for my sister-in-law. She always talks about it and raves about it. So definitely something to check out there. But kind of on the flip side, Jacob, obviously these big ticket items are something that people are always looking forward to saving at least a couple bucks on. But there's also some smaller items, maybe some everyday use items that people kind of would like to restock up on and maybe now have the opportunity to also save a few dollars there as well. As far as Best Reviews is concerned on that end, for some of these smaller items, what are some ones that you think are really worth people kind of looking at and maybe even possibly purchasing?
Yeah, so this is a trickier one for your audience because there are so many items out there on Amazon Prime Day right now that you got to be able to cut through the noise and find, what we like to call the hidden gems. And at Best Reviews, we're kind of obsessed with finding the hidden gems because we're looking at this year round. So we've got that intel to be able to share with folks. I'm like, hey, maybe you skip this one thing, but this other item over here is a great one. So one item that's a hidden gem out there, that's kind of the flip side of the coin from the high price items I was just talking about, are JLab headphones. We tested out their minis, and what's interesting about these is, we get a lot of feedback when we're talking about headphones where people that have smaller ears kind of feel like the earbud style doesn't really work for them. So these JLab minis are great because they are designed for smaller ears. And they're super lightweight as well. So lightweight that you might worry about losing them, but they do come with a keychain ring on it, so you can just add them right to your keychain and not have to, be concerned about that. So that's a great one. That's going to be around $30 over Prime Day. That's very interesting. Folks should check out. And then, like you mentioned, this is a great opportunity that people really look out for when it comes to stocking up on the everyday essentials. I know that a lot of new parents right now want to be able to save on the things that they're going to have to use no matter what. And so you might as well chip off 20, 30% where you can. So there's good deals on diapers. There's great deals on batteries across the board. So those are two things that you'll end up using. Might as well save in the process and stock up on them if you got the space. Trash bags are one that we see a lot too. And then things like Clorox wipes as well. So all of these things we are seeing deals on and folks should check out. And then, again, in terms of helping people find these lower cost items, definitely, and cutting through the noise, like I was just saying, check out woodtv.com. And at the bottom there is a best reviews widget. And we've got roundups for folks that are best products under $20, best products under $10. And make sure you check out all of those if you're looking for, the items that are actually worth getting, that are going to be at that low price point, because it's not hard to find items that are cheap during Prime Day, but it is harder to find great items that are cheap. And so we want to help folks kind of get connected to those.
Yeah, no, that was going to be what I was about to mention, Jacob. Just the fact that you guys have taken all this different time to really structure everything out for every sort of price point that people might be interested in, and everybody can find it right now simply by heading on over to our website, woodtv.com, just like Jacob said. Jacob, again, we love having you on here. It's always a blast getting the chance to talk to you, especially about deals like this that we're seeing through Amazon. But before we let you go, I want to open it up to you and let you kind of have the final word. Are there any other tips, tricks, information, anything you want people to know when they are out there shopping? Again, they do have probably just under 30 hours left to really take advantage of all the deals.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing right now is there's 30 hours left to get these deals. Obviously, Amazon scales up all of their operations to make sure that this will get to you fast and for free. So if you want to take advantage of that free shipping, you got the 30 hours. And, I think a lot of people are already Prime members. And so if you are a Prime member, this is a big way to be able to take advantage of your membership. Now, the last thing I will say, though, is that what Amazon has created during this shopping period, a lot of people have always joked about Christmas in July, but they really have created another major shopping event in July. We're seeing a ton of other retailers jump in and make this a big markdown event for them as well. So, it's one of these things where you want to make sure that you're looking around the web. There are other retailers doing deals right now. I know that Best Buy, Samsung, Walmart, just to name a few, are also doing deals. But what we're expecting to see from them is that those will also coincide with Prime Day. So there's kind of that clock that you mentioned of you've only got so many hours left, and it's true across the web. So it's kind of becoming this own Black Friday, just it happens to be a Tuesday and Wednesday span in July. So it's interesting to see this because when Prime Day first started doing this event in the mid-2010s, it was kind of a standalone thing. Everybody understood the shopping calendar was you get what you can until November, and then in November, everything spikes and everybody's interested in shopping. Amazon, through the strength of being such an e-commerce giant, has created this newsworthy event, this kind of groundswell moment that a lot of their competitors are also latching onto and trying to get some market share out of as well as folks are set up and thinking about saving. So, I always joke it's the best time of year for carving out a few hours at work to scan deals, but it's going to get even bigger than you think. And I really do believe that this is here to stay. So I'm looking forward to talking to you about it next year as well, So it's become a very big shopping event. And if you've got things that you want to save on, you don't want to wait till November, the time is really now.
Absolutely. I mean, you touched on it, Christmas in July. I think that is the perfect way to kind of describe this thing that we're seeing now. But yeah, as a reminder to everybody, if you want to know anything about Amazon Prime Days or you want a guide to help you find the perfect item that you're looking for, I highly encourage you checking out Best Reviews. You can find all of their articles right now simply by heading on over to our website, woodtv.com. We've even made it easier for you if you're watching us on Facebook. Just head on down to the description box or the comment section below. Jacob, one last time, thank you so much for stopping by, and we look forward to talking to you again sometime soon.
Hey, thanks, Phil. Always a pleasure.
Of course. I want to thank everybody else for tuning in to this latest edition of the News 8 Live Desk. I'm Phil Penarski, and we hope you have a great rest of your day.